Good morning, Team Redstone. Colonel Mellor here again for another edition of Virtual Live Town Hall on Facebook. With me, as always, is Command Sergeant Major Jimenez. Today, we have a special guest. Our Director of Operations, Mr. Ron Thomas, is with us. He will talk about anything you want to know about AIE-4 or RFID or any other things with the law enforcement or firemen we have. He's in charge of all of that. So, kicking off today, we have seen a few changes with COVID. We were expecting to see a bit of a spike after Labor Day, and really for the Arsenal that did hit. On Tuesday, we saw not only in the AOI but on Redstone Arsenal as well. The daily averages earlier in the week on Tuesday went up to about 191. That's above our normal range of right around 160-ish. And particularly on the Redstone Arsenal, we've seen quite a few uptick in COVID cases from personnel. On the 5th of September, we were running right around 11 people on the Arsenal that we knew of. Now we're up to about 25 currently. So we did see that uptick. That number is going down, unfortunately. But again, we just ask, make sure you're taking care of yourself and maintaining that 6 feet of distance. And when you can't, please mask up. Okay, we have a couple other announcements today. We do have an opening this weekend. It's a big one for us. It's our chapel services. We are going to start our chapel services this Sunday at 11 o'clock in the morning for Protestant services. This does not include childcare services that normally happen or anything else, just the chapel services for the Protestant service. Sergeant Major, I will turn this over to you for any updates you have, and then I'll come back.
Okay, sir. Thank you. And good morning, team. And like always, thank you for joining our virtual town hall this morning as we bring you some information that we've got. Like the Colonel talked about, the chapel opening up this Sunday. As we get information and as we make those precautionary measures, decisions that'll help us out in getting more resources to you guys, we want to bring you guys the latest information to make sure that you guys are tracking right along with us as well. I know, like in the past, we've talked about, the installation's always open. We've continued to set precautionary measures to ensure workforce coming back, and we are right now, as always, prepared to bring in 50% of our workforce as we continue to push forward where we stand. But we are not seeing that demand just yet. All our tenants and all our workforce is right around the 25 to 30% of coming to work, and then the rest is teleworking right now. But yes, we are able to provide up to 50% where we stand right now. Some of the things that I wanted to kind of go over with the team are some of the closures that we still have out there. Our teen center is still closed at this time. Again, we're looking at different aspects and how we can do things. Bingo is still closed. Our public pools and our aquatic center pools are still closed, and we're constantly looking at different ways and precautionary measures that we could possibly look at and seeing how we can bring those back. The Java Cafe is still closed. The Brooklyn Bowling Center bar is still closed. The Greek Gyro at this time is still closed. So there are some areas that we're still looking at and evaluating to see how we can eventually bring those back to you. One thing that I'd like to talk about that you might see coming in Gate 9 is the MWR marquee sign. As you drive into Gate 9 off to the left, you'll see a marquee sign going up that'll eventually be MWR will be putting out good information for you guys to be aware as you come in, and as you go out, you'll be able to see that marquee sign with some information, key information for you guys. One thing I wanted to push out to as well is deer crossings. We've started to see a little bit more of deer actions on the roadway. So as you're driving around the installation, just be cognizant and be careful as we move around and drive around there that deer crossings are happening. As a matter of fact, last night a deer crossed my area as I was driving down by the golf course. So just be on the aware and on the lookout for deer crossings there. I'd like to talk also about the SFL TAC. We do have a lot of soldiers that are transitioning, and I wanted to put out some information that you may need or have. And again, it is on our website so that you can look it up. But there is a transition counselor out there. The number is 256-929-8679, and it is Jasmine Norwood. The email is jasmine.j.norwood.ctr@mail.mil. So that would be a good contact number. Additional contact numbers is also Lynn Roberts, and that number is 504-300-9870. Or you can also call Ed Adams at 256-842-2717. And on that note of transitioning, on the 25th of September, there's going to be a virtual military-friendly job fair. And you can register on there at www.corporategray.com at Job Fairs 422. So there is going to be a virtual job fair that's coming on the 25th of September. Past that, sir, I'll pass it back over to you.
Okay. Hey, thanks, Sergeant Major. I appreciate that. We do have a couple other changes coming up. We have already changed the retiree hours at the commissary. We've limited them down to Tuesday through Thursday for 1 hour in the morning. We are going to see a change coming in the future as well. DECA, Commissary's higher headquarters, is made the decision to not post somebody at the front entrance anymore taking ID cards. What that's going to do to us is going to limit us on who we can, the commissary hours as far as who we can limit coming and going and at what hours. So coming in the future, in probably 2 weeks, we're going to have to do away with retiree hours because we've got no way to stop anybody who is not a retiree from coming in at that first hour of the morning. So that's going to be a change for everybody. We understand that might be a problem for some, but realize that we're still requiring masks and social distancing in the commissary at all times. So please adhere to those standards. Make sure we're taking care of each other. Okay, on that note, what I'd like to do at this point is turn it over to Mr. Ron Thomas, who will talk about RFID and AIE4, and we have a couple questions for you, Ron, part of, and we'll let you go ahead and take those while you're talking about these things.
Okay, great. Well, am I going to get questions first or a general overview? How would you like me to do this?
Please go with the overview.
Let's start with the general overview, and if I don't touch on it in the questions, I'll go back and do some research and see if we tag them all. So we are getting very, very close to beginning the pilot of RFID, and before I go into that in great depth, let me kind of get some common terminology out there and make sure we kind of understand what we're doing and what we're talking about. So the AIE4 system, or the AIE system, Automated Installation Entry System, is a program that puts us in compliance with DoD for continuous vetting. As many of you know, access control is really never convenient, right? This is where we establish the security of the installation and to make sure that we have a safe environment to come to work from, come to work at, and we take care of our folks. As AIE has evolved, as our security systems have evolved, just in the last year, we transitioned from an ID card going into the physical hands of a guard, him comparing the ID card information, the photos, the images, and the drivers and or occupants in the vehicles. As COVID came on, we kind of transitioned very, very slightly. Probably gained a little bit of efficiency just in simplicity of the card not transitioning from the driver to the guard, and we did that for all the right reasons, mitigating our COVID concerns. And now you're witnessing the functioning component of AIE with the handheld scanners. So those handheld scanners link back to a database that you have provided if you're a DoD ID card carrying member, whether that be a CAT card employee, both contract and non-contract, active duty military, a retiree or dependent. Your information is stored in the Army's files through DMDC, and that management database is what most of you and how most of you got your profiles established in the AIE. We did what we called in-lane registration. So when we first turned that system on, if you carried any one of those DID issued ID cards, you simply came to the gate. They gave you a scan. Took about 4 to 6 seconds for that data to register with DMDC. It added a profile into our system for you, and now subsequently, each time you roll through the gate, we have the ability to do a very quick scan, generally 2-second scan, identify who you are, that you are in fact a DoD member, and you have authorization or access to the installation. In its simplest form, that takes care of all of our DoD ID card holders. So what do I do for all the folks that are not carrying DoD ID cards? That falls into several different categories. You could be an invited visitor here for a couple of days to serve a very specific purpose. You could be a guest speaker coming in. You could be a sponsored visitor, right? All of our CAT carrying or DoD ID card carrying folks have the ability to sponsor a visitor. In many cases, you can sponsor that visitor up to a year. So if you have a frequent flying family member that likes to come and visit, likes to come have lunch with you, likes to come play golf, participate in any of our outdoor activities with you, or just come visit periodically. In the old days or the older system, under the MAX, they would come in and we would give them a visitor's pass for the time period that they were here, 2 or 3 days. You can extend that out to a year for those close family members or folks that are frequent flyers, if you will, that will come and visit you. And if you will go down with your DoD ID card to our visitor center with your visitor, your guest, you can go in there and say, I would like to sponsor my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, whoever that person is to you. You can sponsor them for up to a year or up until the expiration date of your DoD ID card. If you're active duty military, it would comply. You don't really have to be too concerned with the breakdown of your expiration date. If you're retired, you have that same capability, but we will not exceed a year in any case on those visitors. They can get we will register their driver's license into the AIE4 system, and with that, they will have access to the arsenal. Unescorted access as part of your sponsorship. You are as the sponsor, however, are responsible for those parties and that they need to be where they need to be. We don't expect to see them roaming around in our ranges. We don't expect them to see anywhere they're not authorized to be in. So I would caution you, do that with great care. But if you choose to do that, then you can do that from a sponsored visitor's perspective. Let me talk Trusted Traveler for a minute because there seems to be a little bit of question about Trusted Traveler as well. Trusted Traveler is a program that our senior commander, Garrison commander, has extended out to Redstone Arsenal for those people that qualify for Trusted Traveler. Who is that? That is our DoD ID card carrying employees, non-contract. Let me be clear. If you're a contractor and you have a CAT card, you are not automatically entered into the Trusted Traveler program. As a matter of fact, you just don't have Trusted Traveler. And this is a DoD policy, not a senior commander desire or garrison commander desire. We have to comply with our DoD policy for Trusted Traveler, as well as the Department of the Army's Trusted Traveler program. But if you are carrying a DoD ID card, you're active duty, you are retired military, and if you're a dependent of a retired military or active duty military, you are considered Trusted Traveler. That gives you the ability to bring in a guest in your vehicle, and you are responsible for that guest. You must remain with that guest while you're on the arsenal. You must be in positive control and contact with that guest at all times. And that's one of the great advantages of being trusted in this capacity. I would tell you that our Trusted Traveler program is something that we're looking at as we extend out the RFID pilot program. So let me just kind of shift to that because the two will tie very closely together. As we begin to pilot this radio frequency ID program for the Department of the Army. We are limited to who we can extend that invitation to as far as being a pilot participant. So simply stated, it goes back to if you are going to participate, and this is a choice by each person who finds themselves in that eligible category, we encourage you to participate because it helps us get to where we need to be on the pilot. It helps us deliver great data and statistics to those that we are piloting for. But if you fall into that category, by choice, you can elect to participate in the RFID program. That will be extended to trusted travelers. The RFID concept is fairly simple. Your security managers of your individual organizations will be able to connect you with an RFID card. We sent an email out last Friday to each of those security managers or max trusted agents that we've carried before in absence of having your security manager on site or on Redstone here with us. We have set up a program where they can request a number of cards. We'll bulk issue those to your organizations through your security manager or your max trusted agent. And we encourage you to go see your security manager and acquire an RFID card if you fall into that category. That RFID card can be registered online, and we will have information following first of the week next week on a website that you can go do that. Or you can take your RFID card and you can go to our VCC and they will aid or assist you in either doing it at the desk, and there's also a kiosk there, very, very simple to use. When you approach the kiosk, it gives you two selections. Do you want to request a visitor pass? No. Do you want to register or request an RFID card? And you just click that button. It asks you for some basic information, social security number and birth date, and then the number that is printed on the RFID card that you were issued. Once you have that information in there, you hit enter. That automatically ties that or links that to your profile, and you are ready to begin executing RFID operations when we begin on 1 October. Very simple process. The way that program really works is this RFID card. As you approach the lane, it can see your card. It pulls your data up. Now, please know that my guards are going to see who that RFID card is registered to. You'll go through your continuous vetting. It will let us know if you have trusted traveler or not trusted traveler status. And then we will compare the image that we have on our screen to the person operating the vehicle. That's very important that if you're going to participate in the RFID program, that your RFID card, when in use, you need to be driving your vehicle because that's who the guard is going to compare the images to. As you proceed, once you're properly vetted, the guard will double check and make sure, and you should see a green arrow appear just above the guard booth. And at that point, you'll be able to do a continuous slow roll, 3 to 5 miles per hour, nonstop. Now, let me remind you as we do this as well, that RFID card needs to be visible potentially through your windscreen. We've done a lot of testing. If you have it sitting on your dash, if you hold it in your hand just in front of your steering wheel, our systems are very good at detecting that. And you should not have any problem. I think each of our vehicles, based on our configuration, will learn and find that comfortable spot where I can present that RFID as you're approaching the gate. Potentially, you could hold it out the window. I would discourage you from that. I would hate to see you drop your RFID card and have to stop and maybe get out and get it. So we've been very effective in testing it through our windscreens, through our windshields in our cars, and our trucks. So we think that that's going to be beneficial to both parties. We don't accidentally drop an RFID card out the door and have to slow down traffic to go out and police that up. Once you get your green arrow, please have your window rolled down because it's very important. My guards still need to match the face on the screen to the face driving. So please acknowledge that. It's not a windows up. And as we start getting into the colder time of the month, some of you may be thinking, this is great. I never have to roll down the window. My heater stays going. I stay comfortable. We're still going to ask and request that you roll your window down. Remove your mask if you happen to be wearing one. And our guards will let you know if there's any concerns with that. So I think I've addressed AIE4 generally. That's the overarching program. We also have addressed what our Trusted Traveler program looks like, and then talked a little bit about the RFID pilot. And we're anxious and getting ready to get that started. We're doing some ongoing testing and training each week as we proceed through there. We will have a RFID very specific comm plan that can address what you should expect. And as we go to turn on the system on 1 October, I'd like you to anticipate seeing our guards out forward of the gate guard shacks where you don't normally see them. Normally you see them right there at the guard shack. We're going to have additional guards out there coaching and mentoring, helping to understand what your spacing needs to be as each of the vehicles roll through. Symbology will kind of point that out to you because it may not be apparently obvious to everybody. But after the first or second time through there, you should see our guards kind of dissipate from being out front forward, and we're going to move them around to some other gates to help educate some of the other gates as we phase the RFID into operations. I think that's what I've got. Let me see if I can address your questions, if this is a good time, sir. We'll stay on the roll here. Who will issue the RFID cards for our organization? Will everyone need to go to Gate 9 Visitor Center? I think I touched on that, but I think the latter part of that is a great question. So anticipate your security managers and or max trusted agents to issue your RFID cards. If you have difficulty and you're not getting the answers you need from there, please communicate with my physical security office, and we'll either find out who your particular security manager is and help you narrow down who you should talk to, or if you happen to be kind of autonomous out here and you fall into that category, feel free to contact us in the IEOC or go up to my visitors center. If necessary, they can communicate with me. And if you are a unique one-off, there's only 2 of you, you're here from somewhere else, but you know that you are going to be here for 6 or 8 months. We have no issue of working with you through our VCC and issuing you an RFID card. Just know that upon your departure, you're going to have to return that RFID card back to us, and we ask that you be disciplined enough to do that. Will everyone need to go to the Gate 9 Visitor Center? No. For those of you that choose to elect to add an additional token to the RFID system, i.e. your driver's license, I would tell you that if you have an RFID card issued to you by your security manager, you can either go online in your office from home and register your RFID card. But if you would also like to add your driver's license as a token, and then that gives you an option depending on how you're configured. If you're a retiree working an active duty CAC position, employee, and your driver's license, it would technically give you up to 3 means of tokens to access the installation. Not everybody runs around with your badges in your vehicles on the weekends when your boss calls you and says, hey, I really need this document and I need you to work on it at home tonight. If you're out and you have your driver's license available to you, once registered at the VCC, you'll be able to use your driver's license to access the installation. So that might gain some efficiency for you there as well. Second question, if I want to return to the office, but I'm in a high-risk category, can I sign? That's something else. So I don't think that's mine area there. Thank you very much. Question 3, you said last week that contractors will not receive RFID badges. Will that change in the future? We are looking at that. We're working again. This is a DoD policy. While it doesn't state that RFID is not extendable to non-trusted travelers, we have some security concerns, and we're going to work with OPMG, Office of the Provost Marshal General, and see if we need those additional contractors. We understand that there is a lot of contractors on this installation, and as soon as we can get readback from our hire, either at MCOM or DoD, we will reconsider that. But at this time, we are not able to extend that out to contractors, and we'll keep you posted if that changes. That next question 4 isn't mine, but sir, I think I was handed one more, and then I'll leave that. Let me see here. If someone has an emergency on Redstone, do they dial 911 or a different number for police department or fire? 2 questions here, so let me address that. So 911, if you dial 911, that goes to our external community. Very important that if you're on the arsenal and you need to reach 911, as soon as you get an operator at the other end, you need to let them know that you're on Redstone Arsenal. That will then tie to our Joint Dispatch Center, our 911, and then we will get our response here on the Redstone Arsenal as quickly as we can to you. That 911 system registers in Huntsville. And when you say I'm on Redstone Arsenal, they'll immediately put you to our dispatch center here on the Arsenal, and you'll get the response I think that you're looking for. I think I may have covered this, but I just want to reiterate it. Do contractors with a DoD CAT card have trusted traveler? I'm sorry to say they do not. This is a DoD policy. We understand that in the past that has been extended out. When we first started the program, there was a little bit short-sightedness on the discussion of, well, if you have a CAT card, then you're a trusted traveler. We later found out that that wasn't accurate in accordance with the DoD policy. So for the time being, the answer is no. Contractors with a CAT card do not have trusted traveler. I think that hits my main questions for now. Let me see here. I've got one that's popping up here. I went down to the VCC and requested an RFID card. I'm an Army DoD civilian, and they turned me away. So information that we have led our VCC folks to understand is I appreciate you're a DoD civilian. You're certainly entitled to participate in our RFID. We just ask that you communicate with your security managers and anticipate them issuing your RFID card. If you need to get a hold of me, you can contact me through the Emergency Operations Center. And I don't even know what my phone number is there, and I apologize for that. I'll make sure that we get some information out to you. We'll post something up for you so you can reach me in the IOC. And if you have a specific or peculiar instance, again, as I mentioned, you may be a one-off or a two-off. You're a DoD ID civilian. You're going to be here for a while, and you don't have a security manager support directly here. Let me know, and I will try to get after that as well. Will RFID be available at all gates? We've got some flyers out there already, but great topic for me to close out with, I think. RFID is being piloted at gates 9, gates 1, and gate 7. So as we phase this in, I would tell you on October 1st, based on the number of helpers I can have out forward of the gates, my DA security guards, I would anticipate with the commander's approval that we're probably going to begin with gate 9. I think it's a Thursday when that starts, but my calendar days and dates are accurate. I think for the first 2 days we'll be at gate 9, and then the following Monday or Tuesday I anticipate rolling straight into gates 1 and gate 7, and we'll have those folks out there offering assistance in gates 1 and gate 7 as well. And then it's a fairly simple system to use. It doesn't take a lot of effort on your part. Just situationally be aware. Look for your symbology. When you get the green arrow, you're good to go. Make sure your windows are down so my guards can verify who you are. And I think we're going to gain efficiency where I led off earlier in the discussion. Access control is not designed to be convenient, but boy, I think we're really going to gain some efficiencies by using this technology, sir. And from my perspective as the Director of Operations, security is what's most important to us. If we gain that efficiency as a result of it, that's a win-win for everybody, sir. So, subject to your questions, that's all I have, I think, at this point.
Ron, thank you so much. That was a very detailed discussion, and we really appreciate the updates. Let me just applaud you and your team, your gate guards. You guys are doing a great job. We've had a lot of changes coming out in the last couple of months, first with AIE4 and now with the RFID system. And I think you're exactly right. If we can get this fielded well, and past our little growing pains of RFID, I think we are going to gain some efficiencies. We're going to see those people with RFID, they will be moving through the gate a lot faster, potentially not having to stop. We talked about that 3 to 5 mile an hour through the gate, and that's what we expect to see. Again, we have done some testing with this already, and it looks pretty good. Just reiterating one point, again, foot stomping this one. Please work with your security managers in your buildings to get those RFID cards. We're distributing through them to make sure that we can basically get these back if and when you do leave your tenant unit. That way we can issue that card to someone else and have them register that card. Very simple system. Again, Ron went through it very well. A very simple system to register your RFID card. It took me all of about 15 seconds to get it registered, and I've already used it getting through the gate. because it is basically like an ID card now that you can use getting through the gate at this time. They'll scan it right now using the AIA4 system, and you can absolutely use that right now. Okay, we had a couple questions coming up, but just a few things that I wanted to hit before we go into the question and answer period. Tomorrow we have Hispanic Heritage Observance Day for the month of Hispanic Heritage, and that will be done by Space and Missile Defense Command. Once we get the link to that, we will post it on our Team Redstone site. We expect that link to pop up probably tomorrow morning. If you check with us then, we'll be able to put that link out for you so you can watch that. I believe that's being done by an Army astronaut, Lieutenant Colonel Rubio Francisco, I believe his name is. I might have got that wrong, so I apologize if I do. But I know he's an Army astronaut, so he will be hosting that from the Space and Missile Defense Command. So we look forward to that. We do have a couple construction notices coming up that we would like to inform you about. The first one is going to be right outside Gate 9. And this is going to be from the 21st of September all the way through the 9th of October. We are working on the median. It shouldn't impede the flow of traffic very much, but again, those dates are 21 September through the 9th of October. The median right outside of Gate 9 will be worked on. We also have another one, and this is going to occur, I believe, on the 22nd of September. It will be between 9 o'clock in the morning and 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This will be coming down south of Rideout Road. If you come down a little further on the post, on the Garrison, we're going to have a lane blocked off, Rideout Road blocked off from 9 o'clock in the morning to 1 o'clock in the afternoon on the 22nd. And that's to work on some manhole covers, etc., do some maintenance on those. And it will be between Dingy Road and Martin Road, so quite a bit further down south. If you don't normally come down that way, obviously you will not be affected. But basically, if you know where the fire station is, right out Road, it's right in front of that fire station where the work will be done. Okay, question and answer time. Sergeant Major, I think I'll turn this over to you first, and then come back.
Okay, sir. Again, I just want to kind of recap on some of the things that I put out and some of the things that are going on. There's a lot of programs coming online as we slowly turn the faucet back on and bring some individuals back to work and continue to progress forward on Redstone Arsenal. I mean, I just want to tell everybody, make sure that they're aware of their surroundings as they drive on and off the installation. Be safe, and I'd like to thank Mike Moore for giving us that safety tip about watching out for the deer out there. Just to reiterate, if anybody jumped online on the virtual town hall a little bit past that after I talked, but there are some deer and there's other animals out there crossing roadways. So, a lot of, since hunter season kicked off, I think they all move this way so they don't get hunted down. But just be aware that they are crossing the roadways. And then the MWR marquee as you come into Gate 9, there's information that will be coming up online so you can get the latest and greatest on MWR and some of the resources and programs that are going on out there. And then for the SFL TAP, we will post the information. I know I kind of went through the names and some of the numbers there. There are people that are transitioning on our installation. We want to make sure that they get the contact information, make sure they get the website that they can go on there and virtually go through the SFL TAP as they prepare to transition. We'll post those numbers up. And again, our Garrison throughput, being at about 25 to 30% of personnel coming onto the installation is where we're standing right now, what we're seeing, and that's allowing us to bring those resources. Again, we are prepared to support a 50% capacity onto the installation, and we will grow as we open up more, or as tenants begin to come back. But as it stands right now, we are at 25 to 30% is what we're seeing come through the installation. And I know I talked about a job fair, a virtual job fair that will be kicking off on the 25th here in and around the areas with certain companies out there. So if you are in the SFL TAP transitioning, by all means, you can look up that and jump on that. Past that, sir, I just want to echo, that for everybody to have a happy Hispanic Heritage Observance Day and month as we kick that off. SMDC will be heading that up, and then look for a message that I'll be putting out as well for Hispanic Heritage Observance Month.
Okay.
All right, back to you.
Thanks, Major. Okay, we have a couple questions. Some of them pre-positioned from last night. We really appreciate those pre-positioned ones because it gives us a chance to make sure we have the right answer. And the first one is, if I want to return to the office, but I'm in a high-risk category, can I sign a waiver and return anyway? Okay, so this is a two-part answer. If you're in the Garrison, if you belong to the Garrison personnel, I will absolutely take you back in a heartbeat if you want to come back to work. Now, that being said, I want to make sure we do this safely. If you need to be a distance away from people with a mask on, I fully understand that because safety is our number one concern. If you belong to a tenant organization, you need to get with that tenant organization because I'm not making the rules of when you come back to work. So if you're on that health and safety status, please get with your leadership because I will not make that answer for you. Again, if I'm only speaking for the civilians and military who work on the Garrison as far as Garrison personnel, that we would love to have you back. If you do want to come back to work, we will make sure and do everything we can in my power in this building to take you back and make sure we do it safely. That's the key. We absolutely do not want to take any risk with anybody, and so that's our highest concern is the health and safety of our workforce. Okay, we had a question about the commissary and why the bathroom was closed in the commissary. I will have to get back with you on this one. I don't have the answer to that one. We are going to reach out to the manager of the commissary and find that answer out for you, and we will get back with you on that. We will try to post it on our website and find the answer of why. We imagine it must be, again, for health and safety reasons, but we will find that answer out for you, and I appreciate that one as well. Next question is, why is the inside dining at the Burger King still closed? Okay, we go back to health and safety reasons why. It's more than likely that they cannot provide the touch cleaning that needs to be done in between patrons. So we ask that you have a little bit of patience here while we are allowing dining out at all of the ones that are open. The inside of the PX, the Subway, the Charlie's, Philly Steakhouse, we are allowing dining out, and again, same rules apply, is you must grab it and go. They simply cannot afford to bring people on to allow those max cleanings that would be necessary to have that positive control that we would need to make sure that the dining rooms are open for use. So again, just a little bit of more patience. We understand it's inconvenient, but that's the way it is right now. I apologize for that answer, but again, I go back to health and safety. That's our number one concern, is to make sure, as we're seeing COVID cases spike a little bit around the AOI, we want to make sure that that is not being spread on this Garrison. Okay, the question we always get, and the same answer you're going to get, when will Gate 3 open up? Right now, we're just not seeing the traffic on the installation to provide that gate to open up. We are allowing up to 50% through the senior commander and your tenants. We're allowing up to 50% of your workforce to come back. Right now, we're seeing 25% of your workforce back. And so right now, the gate 3 and gate 10 will remain closed until we see that uptick in traffic. We originally set this to be at HPCon Bravo, and we're being directed of when we can go to that HPCon Bravo. So until we see Bravo or the senior commander puts us at Bravo, we are not opening Gate 3 back up. We realize it's an inconvenient for you to drive another 6 minutes to go up to either gates 1 or 8, but unfortunately that is the way it's going to remain for at least a limited time. Okay, we have an interesting one here that I don't know that I can completely answer, but I will do my best. Can you provide information on the new construction near Gate 9? Who are the new tenants? What you're referring to, I believe, is the tenants that are outside the gate, and those tenants are contract organizations. I believe one of them is Northrop Grumman, for instance, and we also have an eatery going in out there that's very good, a couple of restaurants. We have a hotel being built out there, but this is all part of an enhanced use lease program that's going on between the military and the city of Huntsville. So while that remains our property, it's also being leased to the city for their use, and most of the leases are going into for those contracted companies that work directly with the arsenal. But again, there's a restaurant out there that's very good, a hotel going in, and I think Boeing is out there. If you're referring to right inside the Gate 9, there's a fairly new building there. Part of that's owned by the FBI, are using that facility right now, and a couple other tenants that are in there, again, mostly contract tenants that are in there that work directly on the arsenal, that are supporting us on a daily basis. Okay, I know I probably didn't answer that completely, but that's the best I can do with that one for the present time. If you have more questions about it, please reach out to me. I can be reached through my office number. My extension is 8861, and I will point you in the right direction to make sure that we get your questions answered, or through this medium. Just posted again, Facebook online. I'm going to make another push for our Garrison, our digital Garrison app. This can be used on any device you have. It puts out a lot of information. For instance, it has several things. You're going to have to register when you download it. You're going to have to register for a username and password. But once you do that, once you put that in the first time, it'll pop up automatically, so you don't have to keep putting that in. But in there, what we've done is we've teamed with AFES and created a website that will answer a lot of the stuff for the Garrison and the installation. For instance, on the main website, you will see an installation directory. You'll see a newcomer's guide. It has emergency notification tabs. It has a lot of the AFES store information on there as well, along with sales, etc. So a very good app. Please, we'd love for you to download it. We'd love for you to give us feedback to make sure that we make this a stronger program. Another way for us to put out information to you. So please, again, that's called Digital Garrison app. Download it, use it. So far, we're finding it's very helpful and useful to us as well.
Also, just to add on to that, the Redstone Explorer has come offline now, and that Digital Garrison is coming up online. Again, it's a new program, like a lot of other programs that we've been talking to you guys about that's coming online. So it is catching up to what we got going on. Make sure you click on our specific Redstone Garrison, because if you don't, then you'll be getting information from another Garrison, but it has to be Redstone Garrison once you download that program.
Yeah, absolutely. Good call, Sarmina. That's very true. Because it, quite frankly, if you're a traveler and you go to any other installation, you could click on that installation, and you can get the information for their post as well. So, okay. With that, I think we have
one more RFID.
One more RFID. Okay, great. I'm going to turn it back over to Ron.
All right, folks. So we got a question in, and this is a very, very good question. It'll help us delineate where we think our privileges lie as trusted travelers. So, in a nutshell, the question is: if a driver's license is used to enter the arsenal, does that result in additional ID requirements for the occupants of the vehicle versus maybe a retired ID card? So let me see if I can kind of wrap this together. If you have already registered in AIE4 and you bear a retired ID card, an active duty military ID card, or a CAT card, those three big DoD ID CAT cards are cards that we spoke of. If you've already registered those in the system, and you have taken your driver's license to the VCC and registered your driver's license in with your profile, when you approach the gate, any one of those suitable IDs will trigger a couple of things. One, it'll tie it back to your profile, and my guard will see your profile come up. If you have Trusted Traveler in any of those categories, then it will show Trusted Traveler on there. And generally speaking, we would not ask you for IDs or positive ID of your occupants in your vehicle. But let me introduce something else to you. We do something that are called random access control measures. So periodically, we can take any vehicle that's gaining entry to the arsenal, and we may stop and ask everybody for ID. There's a purpose behind this. It's not that we don't trust you as the driver or take anything away from you as a trusted traveler. One of the other requirements to gain access is that you must have some type of ID on your person. Now, this certainly applies for age 18 and above. So I would ask that you not be offended if if you have trusted traveler status, you're entering the installation, and our guard asks you, can I please see the ID of your passenger? We do this randomly. It is part of an Army program to conduct random access control measures. And you might have just been the lucky number for the day. You could have been car 34 or 42, whatever the lucky number of the day was. So we're not looking at you and picking on you or trying to slow your access into the arsenal, but it is part of an active anti-terrorism force protection measure that we conduct these random access measures periodically. But if you already have Trusted Traveler in your status, whether it be through your CAT card, whether it be through a retired ID card, or as a dependent ID, and you choose to register your driver's license as an additional token in the AIE system, if you present that card, it will immediately tie to your profile, and we'll see that you have Trusted Traveler status. And in most cases, your ID will be sufficient, and we will roll you through so you can get to wherever it is you're going. If you have not registered your driver's license and you show up, you may be a CAT card carrying member, you may be retired military, you may be a dependent. But if you have not yet registered that driver's license physically at the VCC, our guards will look at you and say, oh, I'm sorry, we don't recognize who you are. You'll need to go to the VCC. So I would tell you, play your poker hand well. Play your best card forward when you come into the VCC. If you have a retired ID card and it's available to you, or your CAT card and it's available to you, please use those. But if you ran out and it just wasn't convenient, you didn't want to pull over on the side of the road, and your driver's license was handy, as long as that driver's license is registered in our system, then it should show that you have Trusted Traveler. And again, generally speaking, we'll address you as Trusted Traveler. We'll let you go right through with your party in your vehicle. But we may stop you periodically. And if the other person doesn't have ID, not very likely we're going to turn them away. But we would also look at you and say, hey, just remember, it's important that everybody have positive ID on them as they come onto the arsenal. And one more question. Where does the 35 mile per hour speed zone stop as you go north on right out? Is it all the way out to 545? Under the current construction that we have out there and our traffic managers, as I understand it right now, you are 35 until you get beyond the Redstone monument that we have out there, just past the traffic light as you're northbound, that would turn you into the EUL or vicinity of Boeing or our eateries out there. Please be mindful of that. I know some folks get a little excited. They see that long straightaway coming off of the Gosh Road traffic light, and they think, man, I've got a clear shot and I'm on my way home. I got things to do, goats to feed, and kids to play with. Please be mindful of our speed limits out there. But yes, I think it is all the way up to the traffic light at EUL. And then as you're going north on Research Parkway, it quickly jumps to 55 and then right back to 45 as you enter the construction that's being done on Research. And I'm going to pick up, I think, one more Yeah, I see you there, but I don't know that I can read that from here. Where do you register your ID? So if you're a DoD ID card carrying member, if you're talking about a CAT card ID, active duty military ID, or a retired ID, that can be done at the gate through a process we call in-lane registration. So if it's those IDs we're talking about, just go right up to the gate. If it's a DoD ID card, they'll be able to scan it, and you will be registered. No additional work required if you're already carrying a DoD ID card. If you are asking about registering an RFID card, that can either be done via a website or at my VCC. And again, early this week, and certainly in upcoming communications, we'll make sure that you have the website available to you. And if you're referring to your driver's license as being part of our AIE system and a token to gain access to the installation, that ID, your driver's license, has to be done physically at the VCC. There's nothing on your driver's license that I can scan that links to your profile, but once you go into my VCC, you can go in there. They will connect your driver's license to your profile, and then in the future, anytime you show your driver's license, it'll automatically pull up your profile. We'll know who you are, and we'll be able to vet you, and you'll be able to gain access on there. How do you get on post with a VAID card, like for commissary privileges? So the Veterans Health ID card, a common term is sometimes VHIC. You have a token that authorizes you access or privilege to the installation. There's nothing on your VHIC that I can scan initially, so in-lane registration is not possible. If you will take your VHIC or your Veterans ID card to the VCC, let them know that here's my Veterans ID, and I'm a beneficiary to that degree. I would tell you, I would take time to do both your VHIC and your driver's license, and they'll build you a profile there at my VCC, and then you can use your VHIC as an ID or your driver's license as an ID to gain access to the arsenal for such things as the PX and commissary, or perhaps medical, whatever it is that you already have privilege to do under the new policy that came out last January. You'd be able to do that at our VCC, and we'll take care of our veteran ID card carrying folks as well. So I think that's what I've got for my list of questions, sir. Thanks for letting me address those. That was a great question on access for control. So,
Ron, we really appreciate you being here today. You're a wealth of information for us, and that's really a great thing for everyone. Sergeant Major, we turn this over to you.
Okay, sir. Again, as we prepare to close out our virtual town hall, I just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in or sharing our link, so that way we can get all the information out to our garrison and our community of personnel that come on and off the installation, and we can continue doing it safely. We can continue to bring you the resources that we have available, and give you the latest information. The only thing I ask is for all our community members and tenants and people that come on and off the installation to be patient as we bring online all these programs for the safety of our organization and our installation, and for you guys, and the resources that we bring to offer you. And I know there are some questions about the Digital Garrison app. Just to close out real quick, if you go to the App Store, it is the Digital Garrison, or the Android Store to download it. You can download it. It's the Digital Garrison app. Other than that, I know there's some resources that are being asked about. We will continue to assess those and take the precautionary measures, make deliberate decisions on bringing back more resources when those times do come up. But we thank you for all the questions. Continue sending us questions. Other than that, sir, team, have a great day, 1st to 5.
Sergeant Major, thank you. There was one more question I had that I was going to answer, and then I'll close out here. The question is there a new commissary or PX in the plans for being built? And the answer right now is no. We have got what we've got for the present time. The next building you might see coming, and this is a couple years in the making yet, is going to be a food and beverage type of eatery right by the commissary. It's planning on replacing the current bingo hall of what you now know as a bingo hall. But it's going to be a food and beverage place and a bingo hall included. And that's to make sure that we can house the number of people that we have interested in bingo and other things. So that might be the next one you see. But again, it's a couple years in the making. We're just looking at the designs now, make sure that we have everything we need and the planning being done and taken care of. But that will probably be the next building you see on the installation as far as an MWR focus. So with that, we really appreciate you being with us today. We loved having Ron here. He was a wealth of knowledge. So let us know if you want to have any other guests, and we will get them lined up, available to answer your questions and help us help you. Sergeant Major and I have no issues with doing this, continuing to do this every Thursday morning. And as long as we have interest from you and that we know that we're providing a benefit and answering the questions you want answered. So if you would like to talk to somebody or have questions answered by somebody, please reach out to us. Let us know who you'd like to see on here, and we would love to have them as a guest, and we will do our best to get them on and with us on Thursday mornings. So again, everybody, please stay safe. Have a great week and weekend coming up. I think the weather's supposed to be a little bit milder, low humidity. So please take care. Be safe out there and be healthy. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great day.